Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Nigel, and in today's video, we're going to be attempting to get Canon-like colors out of Panasonic and Sony cameras. And we're going to be achieving this by using a new plugin from the makers of FilmConvert, and this plugin is called Cinematch. So basically what Cinematch does is it takes the color space from basically any camera that shoots log and it transforms it into the color space of another camera. Now the purpose of Cinematch is just that. It's to match the colors from different cameras. But what I thought would be cool is if I could take footage from say a GH4 or like maybe a Sony A7 camera and change it into the color space of say a Canon or an ARRI camera. Everyone strives for the ARRI or the Canon color science. So what I did is I wrangled up a couple more cameras. Big shout out to my buddy Jared, who loaned me his A7S II for an afternoon, and also my buddy Zach, who loaned me his C200B. So essentially I shot several different scenes with each of the cameras, and I wanted to see if I could make them all look the same. And I was going to be using the C200B as my baseline. So I want the A7S II and my Panasonic GH4 to both look as close as they possibly can to the C200. And what I wanted to do is just see how well this Cinematch plugin works on 8-bit footage. So here we have a shot side by side with two different cameras. One of them is the Sony A7S II and the other is the Canon C200B. Now I matched them using Cinematch, and this is what they look like before using the Cinematch plugin. Using the plugin is pretty simple. All you have to do is just drag and drop it onto the footage that you want to convert into a different color space. You pick what camera and what type of log it was shot on, and then you can choose a different camera and a different log that you want to transform it into. This worked pretty well with the Sony A7S II, but only when you expose it properly. If you look at this shot, it was slightly underexposed, and as soon as I tried to use the Cinematch plugin, the Sony A7S II footage just completely fell apart. And the same goes for the Panasonic GH4. If you don't nail your exposure and you underexpose your footage, the 8-bit codecs from the Sony A7S II and the GH4 just are not going to hold up. And it's kind of funny, the footage that came out of the Canon C200, it's still an 8-bit file, but it just has a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it is. Like, it looks so good. So that is something to be said with Canon. The Canon stuff coming straight out of the C200 looked really good. And as soon as you put that Canon C-Log LUT on the C200 footage, you don't get any weird banding and it just looks great. So that's one thing to be said about the Canon log stuff, is that even though it's 8-bit, it still looks really, really good. Now, as you can see in this shot with the GH4 and the C200, I actually think that they matched pretty well. I think that unless I told you, unless you really pixel peeped, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell which one is which. So unfortunately, I don't have an ARRI Alexa or something like that to do any tests with, but I thought I would take my GH4 out and shoot some footage and see if I could get my GH4 to kind of look like an ARRI Alexa. And instead of shooting in 8-bit, I did borrow an Atomos Ninja V, thanks Jared, and shot in 422 10-bit on the GH4 in Vlog, just so I could get the best results out of this camera. So overall, what do I think about Cinematch? I honestly think that it's pretty cool. I feel like it's not going to be 100% perfect every single time you use it, but if you expose your image properly and you use the proper conversion LUT, you can make footage look basically like any other camera. I feel like I was able to get my GH4 to look almost like a Canon camera. Same thing with the A7S II, which I think is pretty sweet. And I think it kind of lessens that argument of, oh, you know, Canon's color science is so great, when you can get really close with basically any camera that shoots in log by using the Cinematch plugin. Anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It was super fun to shoot. Once again, big shout out to the people at Cinematch for sending me this plugin. I really liked it. Also, big shout out to Jared and Zach for lending me their cameras. Anyways, I think that's all I have for you in this video. If you'd like to check out more of my videos, you can click on either side of my face. But until next time, I'll see you all later. Bye.